Okay, so get this ready for today's deep dive because, well, this one's pretty out there. We're going to be talking about what if humans evolved to, like, eat dirt instead of drinking water?
Whoa.
I know, right? It's like one of those what if questions that just kind of blows your mind.
Yeah.
And, it sounds crazy. I mean, maybe even a little gross, but
Yeah.
that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We've got research, speculative articles, all sorts of stuff, all about a world where dirt is the main source of sustenance.
So essentially, we're looking at a complete paradigm shift, a world where this seemingly mundane substance dirt becomes the most essential element for survival.
Exactly. And that's what's so fascinating to me. Like it forces us to rethink, pretty much every aspect of our existence.
Yeah.
Everything from geopolitics to our daily routines, like the implications are huge.
Absolutely. And one of the first things that the sources highlight is how this premise would completely change global power dynamics. Fertile land wouldn't just be valuable, it would be like the ultimate resource, even eclipsing something like oil in importance.
Oh, wow. So like instead of oil wars, we'd have like dirt wars.
Yeah.
Countries battling it out over regions with like the best dirt.
Exactly. Imagine nations going to extreme lengths to secure fertile land, forming alliances and treaties all centered around this essential resource.
That's wild. So would we have like organizations like OPEC, but for dirt?
It's very possible the sources suggest something like a global soil council, regulating dirt quality, preventing contamination, mediating disputes over territory.
I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what would be the criteria for good dirt? Would there be like a dirt rating system?
Oh, absolutely. The sources actually suggest that. There would be these complex systems for analyzing soil composition, mineral content, making sure it's free of any harmful substances. It's pretty interesting.
So, like, imagine dirt processing plants instead of water treatment facilities.
Precisely. Ensuring the dirt we consume is safe and nutritious.
Okay, so we've got like global organizations fighting over dirt high-tech processing plants. But let's bring it down to earth, literally. What would daily life actually look like in this dirt-eating world?
Well, think about your kitchen. Instead of a water filter, you have a dirt purifier. And maybe next to your blender, a specialized grinder for different types of soil.
Wait, so instead of like grabbing a glass of water, you're scooping a bowl of dirt.
That's the idea. And some sources even talk about different cultures developing unique dirt cuisines. Regions specializing in preparing certain types of soil, much like we have regional cuisines based on locally available ingredients today.
Okay, so are you telling me there could be like gourmet dirt restaurants?
Yeah.
Would we have dirt sommeliers recommending the perfect soil pairings?
The possibilities are pretty fascinating, and it's not just about the preparation. Our bodies would need to adapt different digestive systems, specialized enzymes to break down minerals.
I mean, would we even poop? What would that be like?
That's a question the sources don't fully address, but it highlights the huge physiological changes that would have to occur. And it really makes you wonder, how would this dependence on soil affect human evolution? Would we develop stronger bones from all the minerals? Different teeth for grinding those soil particles?
It's mind-blowing to think about. So we've got dirt wars, gourmet dirt restaurants.
Uh-huh.
And, well, maybe we shouldn't dwell on the poop situation too long.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask about something else. The sources mentioned this idea of engineered dirt. What is that?
That's where things get really interesting. Imagine scientists creating synthetic soil. Tailored to meet specific nutritional needs, this could revolutionize agriculture, allowing us to produce dirt with optimal mineral compositions even in regions with poor natural soil.
So instead of growing crops in soil, we're growing the soil itself. What would that do to the economy? Would farmers become like dirt cultivators?
Precisely. And think about the stock market. Imagine soil futures being traded. Would there be dirt-based investment schemes and maybe even dirt-related crime?
Oh, man. Can already see the headlines. Dirt baron busted in massive soil scheme. But wouldn't all this focus on dirt also make us way more aware of environmental problems? Like soil depletion wouldn't just be an ecological problem, it would be an existential threat.
Absolutely. Things like reforestation, composting, responsible land management. Those practices would become even more critical in a world dependent on dirt for survival.
It makes you wonder, though, would it also create new forms of inequality? What about regions that naturally have really poor soil?
That's a crucial question. Would a world reliant on dirt be more equitable? Or would it just make existing power imbalances even worse? Could we use technology to overcome those disparities, or would it just create new ones? These are all really important questions to consider as we continue this deep dive.
Yeah, it's already clear that this whole idea, humans eating dirt instead of drinking water,
Yeah.
Opens up a ton of really fascinating and complex questions. And honestly, we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
Welcome back to our deep dive, exploring a world where humans get sustenance from dirt instead of water. We've already talked about some pretty mind-blowing stuff like political implications, economic shifts, even the potential for gourmet dirt cuisine.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride so far, but I'm ready for more.
All right, well, let's keep digging deeper. And this time, let's think about how this fundamental shift would impact other parts of our lives, like things we might not immediately consider.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you have in mind?
Well, for starters, how about education? How would that be different in a world where dirt is the most valuable resource?
That's a good one. Yeah, never thought about that.
The sources suggest a pretty big change in what kids would be learning. Imagine a curriculum centered around soil composition nutrient cycles. Instead of learning about the water cycle, it's all about dirt.
So instead of field trips to water treatment plants, kids would be visiting dirt processing facilities.
Exactly. And think about our cities. How would they be designed in this dirt-centric world?
Yeah, good point. What would they look like?
The sources talk about these massive structures called vertical soil farms, where dirt is produced and processed right within city limits, using advanced technology to make sure it's super nutritious and sustainable.
Vertical soil farms, huh? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. I mean, how would those even work?
Well, they'd likely use techniques like hydroponics to cut down on water usage, and they'd use artificial light, maybe even specific wavelengths of light, to stimulate the growth of those all-important nutrients in the soil.
That's incredible. Just imagine the kind of tech advancements we'd need to make that happen. It wouldn't just be agriculture. We'd be talking microbiology, genetic engineering.
Yeah, definitely. This need for sustainable dirt would push innovation in all sorts of fields. Think about industries devoted to purifying, enriching, even sterilizing soil. And doing it all in a way that doesn't use up tons of energy. Renewable energy sources would become absolutely crucial.
Okay, so we've got dirt schools, vertical soil farms powered by renewable energy, high-tech dirt processing plants. It's all starting to come together like a strange but kind of cool picture of the future. But I got to ask about the potential downsides. Are there environmental challenges we might face in this world?
You bet one of the biggest issues would be soil depletion. Just imagine the strain on fertile land if everyone's relying on it for survival. Over-extraction and contamination would be huge threats.
So things like reforestation, composting, responsible land management, those would be even more important than they are now.
Absolutely. The sources actually talk about developing practices like soil rotation to give land a chance to rest and recover its nutrients.
Would we see anything like global agreements, like maybe a soil conservation force dedicated to protecting and restoring those precious fertile areas?
It's a real possibility. The sources suggest we might even have international treaties, similar to climate treaties, but focused on sustainable soil management.
That's fascinating. It really makes you think about how this dependence on dirt could change global politics. Like, would countries with lots of fertile land become the new superpowers? Would we see soil alliances forming just like the oil cartels we have today?
It's definitely conceivable, and just like we have inequality based on access to resources like oil today, a world based on soil would likely face similar challenges.
It's a bit unsettling to think about, but I guess it makes sense. So if soil is so valuable, could it even become a form of currency? Would we be trading bags of dirt instead of dollars and euros?
Now, there's a thought-provoking question. Some sources suggest soil could become a tradable asset, with its value based on things like quality and nutrient content. Imagine soil banks storing and trading different types of dirt, and our entire financial system built around these soil-based transactions.
That's wild. This is a whole new way of thinking about economics.
Right. And this whole thought experiment has really made me think about our relationship with dirt. It's something we usually take for granted, but in this world, it would be everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing dirt in a new light now. It's amazing to consider how this one change, eating dirt instead of drinking water, would affect every single part of our lives.
And we haven't even touched on the cultural implications yet. Just imagine how this reliance on dirt would shape our beliefs, our art, our entire understanding of the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive. It's the final stretch of our exploration into a world where humans get their sustenance from dirt instead of water.
That's right. We've covered some pretty wild territory so far. Everything from dirt wars and gourmet soil cuisine to vertical soil farms and the possibility of a soil-based economy.
Yeah, we've really dug deep into this concept.
And now we're going to go even further and explore how this dependence on dirt might shape us as a species, not just in our daily lives, but like on an evolutionary level.
Okay, I'm ready to get existential. What kind of long-term changes are we talking about here?
Well, the sources suggest that over generations, our bodies would adapt to become incredibly efficient at extracting nutrients from soil.
So it's not just that we'd be eating dirt, we'd become like expert dirt processors.
Exactly. Imagine specialized digestive structures, maybe even new organs evolving to break down those minerals.
That's wild. What specific changes might we see?
For one, our teeth might evolve to be much tougher, able to grind those soil particles more effectively.
Makes sense.
Our saliva could change too, maybe becoming more alkaline to neutralize any acidic compounds in the soil.
Huh. I never thought of that.
And even our gut microbiome, all those trillions of bacteria in our intestines, would probably undergo a massive transformation to help us digest this new diet.
Wow, it's like we'd be terraforming ourselves from the inside out. But wouldn't this close connection to the earth also change us on a cultural and spiritual level? I mean, we're talking about literally consuming the substance that sustains life.
Absolutely. The sources suggest that entirely new philosophies and belief systems could emerge. Centered around this dependence on soil, imagine a world where eating dirt isn't just a biological necessity, but a sacred act, a way of connecting with the very essence of life itself.
So instead of holy water, we'd have holy soil.
It's a fascinating thought, right? Certain types of soil, perhaps those with unique properties or found in sacred places, could be highly valued, used in rituals and ceremonies.
So people might go on pilgrimages to fertile regions, not just for sustenance, but for spiritual reasons.
Exactly. It's a whole new way of looking at our relationship with the earth.
And how might this reverence for soil manifest in our art and literature?
The sources imagine artistic expressions that celebrate the beauty and complexity of soil. Think intricate sculptures made from different types of dirt or poems that capture the richness of the earth. Music might even incorporate the sounds of soil being tilled or wind blowing through fields.
It's amazing to think how this one change would ripple through every aspect of our culture, shaping our values, our beliefs, our very identities. And wouldn't it also give us a much deeper understanding of how interconnected we are with nature?
Absolutely. This shift in perspective could lead to a more holistic understanding of our place in the ecosystem. We might finally start to see ourselves as part of nature, not separate from it.
And hopefully that would lead to a more sustainable way of living.
That's the hope, right? Recognizing the finite nature of fertile soil and protecting it for future generations.
It's incredible to think that a simple change like eating dirt instead of drinking water could have such profound effects.
It really is. It's a testament to the power of speculative thinking, challenging our assumptions, exploring possibilities, and gaining new insights into our world.
Even if that world involves eating dirt.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even the most seemingly outlandish ideas can lead to fascinating conversations and unexpected discoveries.
So maybe somewhere out there in the vastness of space, there's a civilization that does thrive on a diet of soil. And they're listening to this right now thinking, what's so strange about that?
That would be an interesting encounter, to say the least. But for now, let's leave our listeners with a final thought. In a world where we literally consume the earth, would we finally learn to truly value and protect it?
That's a powerful question, and one that we should all be asking ourselves as we navigate our relationship with this planet.
It's been a wild ride exploring this dirt-based world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep digging deeper into the mysteries of the universe.